Hello, everyone. We've got a lovely interview for you today that will get you smiling and salivating. I had a lovely chat with the German food writer Ursula Heinzelmann about a vegetable that Germans are apparently obsessed with, the asparagus or Spargel. We talk about why Germans are so in love with this vegetable that they refer to as white gold. We talk about the back-breaking work involved with harvesting this vegetable. And keep listening until the end to hear Ursula's tips on how best to cook your asparagus. Enjoy. Ursula, hello. Thank you so much for joining us and happy Spargelzeit. I wanted to start by asking, is Spargelzeit a special part of the year for you?
It is very special. First of all, hello, and thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure entirely. Yes, Spargelzeit is very special for me. I think a bit still for all Germans, because we think of asparagus, Spargel, as white stuff. But I know there are other people in Europe who prefer green stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah, although I have to say, here in the Netherlands where I live, soon after meeting my husband, I came home one day from the supermarket with some green asparagus, and I've never had such a look of disdain. He was really like, that is not asparagus. Growing up in the UK, I'd never seen the white stuff.
I know. Especially English people are not like into white stuff at all. But I've just been to Sweden for a few days and was very happy to see that there are at least some farmers who grow the white stuff.
What's the main difference between the white and the green stuff?
In the kitchen, the white stuff you have to peel. The green stuff you don't. You just break off the hard ends. This is due to the fact that the green stuff just grows out of the earth. The white stuff grows covered with earth. It looks like long, I don't know, walls or something in the fields. So you actually cut it from underneath the earth. It's so it's bleached. The skin develops very differently. Let's put it like that. Yeah. And originally they did that because asparagus is a very, very old plant. Plinius in ancient Greece has been writing about it extensively. They grew it. And then somehow it made it through the Middle Ages, the knowledge about it. And then I think the French royalty, the French kings ate asparagus in the 15th century. And in the 16th, it made it to Germany. And so originally you put the earth to protect it from frost.
Aha, okay. And so it's been grown in Germany for a long time now, but could you try and describe to me why there's such a reverence for this one particular vegetable in Germany? Why are you all so enthusiastic about it?
Good question. I mean, I grew up with it. I think partly is because it's something that I, as a kid, my mother would serve for Sunday lunch, you know. Never on Easter because that was too early, but on Pentecost or Ascension Day, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it has a very clearly defined season. You have to make good use of that season because you only cut your white asparagus until June 24th, Johannistag.
Okay, so we've got another few weeks now. And from what I understand, much of the asparagus eaten in Europe is actually grown in like pretty far away places like Mexico and Peru. And even when it is grown in Europe, it's harvested by, or is that wrong?
I disagree strongly.
Okay. Most of it is grown here. Most of the stuff we get in our supermarkets.
I think, okay, I have no numbers, okay? And the asparagus you can buy now year round for German of my generation, I'm 62 years old, is a bit of an abomination to eat asparagus out of season. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? It's one of the pleasures that there's a limit. So And for that year rate, it's grown mostly in Peru. Huh?
Yeah.
But for the asparagus during the season, we have the Greek and the Spanish who jumped in and to go for this very early window, because people here now expect to eat asparagus for Easter. And if the weather doesn't cooperate, there is no local asparagus for Easter. It depends on also how late or early Easter falls, but still.
Yeah. So even when it is grown in Europe, it's harvested often by seasonal workers, and you
That's
mentioned
true.
already that it's backbreaking work, and they often earn pretty paltry wages and work under.
Well, the wages depend on, because they usually are a combination of a fixed wage and how many kilograms you harvest. And very good workers can harvest from 200 to, I think the record is at 500 kilograms per day. I mean, you and
Wow.
I can't do that.
No, I'm
It's
sure
impossible.
we can't.
And most asparagus farmers say that they haven't seen a German worker for years, or remember there was the Arbeitsamt job office sent, and he didn't even make it through the day. It's mostly Polish, Romanian, Bulgarian, probably Croatian.
So what's the best way that listeners can consume asparagus ethically?
Ethically, oh my God, I mean, pay the right price. Like, be prepared to pay a certain price. And then go for the freshest. Try to find organic asparagus, organically grown.
Can you taste the difference between asparagus that's harvested in different areas?
Oh. No, I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
wouldn't
so?
trust it.
No.
But what you can taste is good stuff and cheaply produced stuff.
Okay. So you aren't just a writer, you're also trained as a professional chef and ran a Michelin-starred restaurant. So I wanted to ask you before we let you go, what's your favorite way to eat your Spargel?
Thank you for that question, Dominic. So when the season starts, I like it as, au naturel as possible. So my favorite way is when you prepare asparagus, first, be careful when peeling it. Peel it well, because the worst thing is you have little strings of, peel still sticking in your teeth. And no, peel it well. It takes a moment to get some practice, but then it's really easy. Huh? So it's worth investing in that. Cut off the kind of a bit woody end. So then you have your nicely peeled asparagus. Try to peel it yourself. There's pre-peeled stuff, but you lose water again. You want it as juicy and knackig as possible. And then most people boil it in a lot of water. You can do that, but salt your water. Forget about, people say add sugar or you can add a bit of butter, but the most important thing is salt in your water. If not, your asparagus will just taste of like watery. Okay. And then the next most important thing is don't overcook it. That's the most horrible thing you can do to asparagus, is if you have this limp, mushy stuff. If you lift an asparagus, on your finger or on a wooden spoon or something, it should just start to wanting to bend, but it's an idea of wanting to bend. That's it. That's enough. You can also steam it. There are those special cooking pots where they stand upright in a little basket, and you add just very little water at the bottom. That's also very cool, because of course then the kind of aroma stays in the asparagus. What I do nowadays when I'm on my own and I don't have a lot of it, I use like a flat frying pan so that all the asparagus is in one layer. And I add some butter. Butter and asparagus are perfect partners. And a little bit of water and salt. And then I cook that. So the ideal is that the water is all gone by the time the asparagus is done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of almost glazed. And that's
Ooh.
it. And I eat it with my fingers.
Wow. With nothing else, just asparagus.
This first asparagus with nothing else. Then if I've had my fill, like a week or two in, and I can be seen the first week when I'm at home, like I could eat asparagus every single night. It's just, for me, it's so good. Then of course the classic would be to serve some sauce hollandaise with it. So whipped egg yolk with a lot of butter. I prefer what is very nice is a cream sauce with fresh tarragon. Fresh tarragon works magic with white asparagus. Perhaps a bit of poached salmon or another fish. It's very nice. Classic, of course, is ham, smoked ham.
Yeah.
To go serve with it. In the south of Germany, they serve scrambled egg with it, which I personally.
That sounds.
Yeah,
I
or
like that.
very like crepe-like, pancakes.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of possibility. Sometime into the season, I'm not against some green asparagus, I have to say. If it's not too thick, I prefer it quite thin.
Mm-hmm.
And I serve it with olive oil and shaved Parmigiano Reggiano and a bit of rucola. And then a Sauvignon Blanc with it. Fantastic.
Wow. I'm salivating.
But you can also,
right now.
The white stuff, you peel it and you cut it very thinly, raw, and you dress it as a salad or you add it to a salad. That's also really nice.
Wow. I've never tried it raw. I'm going to do that. Well, thank you so much for all these recommendations and for coming on the show to talk to us about your favorite vegetable. It's such a joy to talk about this instead of depressing European politics for once on this show. So thank you, Ursula.
Thank you, Dominic. And thank you for listening.